Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Star Flames and we're back with another video. In this video guys, we're gonna talk about some new evidence on the Tory Lanez versus Megan Thee Stallion case. Now, please note that even though we have some journalists and some reputable people sharing what new evidence has been brought forward, this is all allegedly. I have to reiterate that because the entire, thing between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, it is so sensitive at this point in time that we have to basically be careful with, how we put our words forward. Now, let's get into this because as you guys know, it was only, 2 weeks by this time that Tory Lanez almost lost his life behind bars. Like, can you imagine that? Or I know many people can, right? Because it happens so often. He's serving a 10 years sentence behind bars. He was attacked by another prisoner who attacked him off guard. And prison officials, they declared from the get-go saying, this was no typical attack, honey. They've seen attacks before, and they can tell you that this one had a direct intent, and the direct intent was for Tory Lanez to not get up off that ground. So, he was stabbed over 14 times. He received quite a few stabs, over 4 to the back of his head. He got some in his back as well. The attacker then turned Tory Lanez around and gave him several other stabs, like he was going all over to ensure that he hit all the vital organs to ensure that Tory Lanez did not wake up. One of the stabs missed Tory Lanez's heart by a few inches. Just a minor, I think it was like 2 inches, they say. One of the stabs entered from is either left cheek to the right or from the right to the left, right? Both lungs collapsed. So you know that it was vile, it was aggressive, it was intentional. The intent was to take out Tory Lanez. Now, after that attack happened on Tory Lanez, Kelsey's bodyguard came out and said it wasn't Tory Lanez that shot Megan Thee Stallion. It was Kelsey that was shooting after Megan. Tory tried to get the gun from Kelsey and Megan got shot in the foot. Well, now it is said that there is a Ring doorbell that shows actually what happened, showing Kelsey allegedly shooting Megan Thee Stallion. There are 3 different sets of DNA prints on the gun. They're saying that now it has been proven that Tory Lanez's DNA is 0.01%, less than 1% on the gun. No one else's DNA has been tested. We have Andrew Cuomo who's talking about it. We have another journalist that is talking about it with TMZ. So now they're saying, why is it that Tory Lanez was ever convicted knowing that his DNA was only 0.01% and no one else was tested? But let's take a look at this clip together, shall we? And then I'll get back with the rest of my commentary.
2022. Singer, rapper Tory Lanez, convicted of shooting performer Megan Thee Stallion after a party at the Hollywood Hills home of Kylie Jenner. Here's the story. They're at the party. After the party, they get into an argument. Lanez tells Megan Thee Stallion, dance, and shoots at her feet like a cowboy movie, hits her. Proof? Testimony of Megan Thee Stallion, her friend Kelstharris, and DNA evidence on the weapon that convinced jurors to convict. Pretty simple, right? Maybe not. Turns out that DNA, only a 0.01% chance that the DNA is from Lanez. He's always maintained his innocence. He was sentenced to 10 years, so this is really about the testimony. Lanez, so what happens? So he goes away, recently stabbed 14 times in prison. Many say it was a hit, okay? Because new evidence is about to come out. All right, a little conspiratorial, but he was definitely stabbed. Lane's supporters believe that the media doesn't care because Megan Thee Stallion is represented by Jay-Z's Rock Nation. Now, I could give a damn about Jay-Z or his company. This just wasn't a case on my radar until now. Why? Anna Paulina Luna. She is a representative from Florida. You see her here on a regular basis. She says she's got new evidence, says it wasn't him. And she joins us now. Representative APL, it's good to have you.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be back on. And thanks for taking a look at this case.
No, listen, you tell me to take a look at it, I'll look at it. But why did you look at it? I mean, this isn't your jurisdiction. I don't know you'd have any connection to any of these people.
Yeah, so as you know, we are on oversight and accountability, and so this case was actually initially flagged for me by Amber Rose, and the reason why I took a particular interest in it is because of the fact that they actually had evidence that they presented to me in my office that actually disproved the conviction. So as you stated earlier, that 0.01% of DNA, they actually found 4 people's DNA on that firearm, none of which was Tory's. Not to mention there was 0 fingerprints on the actual magazine, and also too, as you said, 0.01% chance. I mean, that evidence in itself should pretty much speak for itself. Also, there's been ring footage that's been obtained that actually disproves the whole dance, Megan. And so what we're seeing is really there was a case of he said, she said. The evidence wasn't actually respected and properly adhered to actually in the trial. And then they also were doing something that I would find pretty wild and egregious. They were actually submitting his lyrics for rap as evidence to the crime. So look, first and foremost, you have to have a free and fair society. That means we need to respect and uphold the justice system. So I actually reached out today to Gavin Newsom's office, and we are requesting an emergency meeting. We're also working with other Democrats, specifically to the California delegation. But I think that this is something that's pretty egregious, that the way that this was handled, the way that it was. I think that it was largely driven by headlines. And aside from the people involved and the parties involved, obviously I take domestic violence, I take this very seriously, Chris, but I also take very seriously the fact that I do believe, based on the evidence that I've seen, that Tory's innocent. And I think that it sets a really bad message when you have someone of his stature, and also to someone that is as influential as he is, that's being wrongfully incarcerated. And that's exactly why we wanted to use our megaphone for a good reason and help get him his pardon, which I think he'll get.
So Luna, who did it? I mean, she says, and her friends say, that he did it. And who else would have done it? And what proof do you have to support that? I get it. Maybe they didn't make the case the right way with the weapon, but who did it?
You know, Chris, that's not for me to weigh in, and that's definitely for the judge and the jury. But what I will tell you is, based on the evidence that we have, the evidence that we have says that he wasn't the guy. And so I do think that Gavin Newsom has some great attorneys that will look at this. But I'd also like to point out that the prosecutor specifically on this case that initially brought the charges is a very interesting prosecutor. Look into who ran him. And at the end of the day, you know, I think Hollywood, as you know, Chris, in politics does overlap. And there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened there. So look at the evidence for yourself. We've posted it for the entire world to see, to determine for themselves. And I know that Tory's legal team actually has an incredible case. And so we are calling on Gavin Newsom to issue that pardon immediately. And also remember, he was almost killed in jail. I actually talked to him today on the phone, and he said that once he does get out, once he does get this pardon, which I do feel confident that he'll be getting, he's going to work extensively in prison reform, because this should never happen to anyone.
Anna Paulina Luna, this is a really interesting one. I've never covered a situation like this before, but I appreciate you using your platform, and let the legal team know. We'll be reaching out if they want to come on to make the case. I'm happy to hear it, and we'll check in with the governor's office as well. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah. Of course. And Chris, too, if you want, we can probably connect you with his dad as well. I think it's important for people to know all the facts.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'll check in with you right after the show.
Anna also spoke with TMZ, and her story, you know, the information that she's sharing with TMZ, it is exactly the same. Because you know how the internet can be at times. They may think that, okay, these people are getting paid to do this and to go on a press tour to make Tory Lanez look good. Not saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying that's just how the internet is. So we're going to take a look at a clip of her speaking with TMZ as well, and then I'll get back with my final commentary.
My understanding is you're around some kind of the Foreign Relations Committee. and you're from Florida. Why did you take such an interest in this case?
Specifically, how I got involved in this case is I actually am friends with Amber Rose, and she had flagged it for me. And when I actually spoke to the attorneys that are representing Mr. Lanez, they actually presented me with evidence. When I saw the evidence that was brought forward, we're talking about no forensics DNA on the magazine of the pistol, a 0.01 DNA match, which effectively means that he could not have been the shooter, to include there being ring footage that really refutes and dispels the testimony that, you know, he had basically said dance and then fired the firearm. In addition to that, there also being missing ballistics fragments from the alleged, you know, shot in the foot, as well as medical x-rays. All of this does indeed show and prove that Mr. Lanez, unfortunately, is being incarcerated and he's an innocent man.
Is this the new evidence that you had tweeted about? This ring video, you said there's a ring video that will refute?
Yep, it was actually brought to my knowledge by the attorneys, and we actually had posted that on one of our X platforms, that there's allegedly ring video footage that refutes the statements and they, I would say, hearsay comments in court testimony.
Have you seen it, and is it going to be released?
I'm actually actively pushing for the release of that, and there's also an affidavit that the attorneys have actually shown me already that actually came from, we will be presenting that and posting that publicly for everyone to see in the coming days.
If I was the appellate lawyer or the lawyer trying to secure a pardon for him or a new trial, and I had a video showing somebody else shot him, I would shot her. I would send that out immediately to the media to create this kind of firestorm to
then
release.
You would get the governor's attention.
Why wouldn't they immediately release a video if it shows? I mean, because that's the smoking gun, literally.
Right.
I don't know. Again, as I stated, I haven't seen the footage yet. But what I will say is that all of the information that's been brought forward and flagged to us is also going to be presented if it hasn't already been sent to the governor's office. And I would also say that it's incredibly important for people to realize that the body cam footage, which I'm sure you guys are aware of, has also reported, and the initial medical responding doctor at the ER with Miss Stallion actually reported lacerations, and also the bullet fragments are missing, meaning that they don't have evidence. When you have very wealthy people involved, that he said, she said, evidence goes missing. I mean, this is all something to me that indicates where there's smoke, there's fire, and this screams cover up. And so what I would say is that people need to be very careful about this, because if this can happen to someone like Tory, it can happen to you guys.
No, providing that everything Anna has shared is in fact factual, and it is as she's saying, you know, it means that, you know, people should be really scared of the justice system and not be trusting of it, because it's not the first we're hearing that innocent individuals from the industry, they get taken down for things that they didn't do, all because there's a master agenda behind it. When it's not wanting to take away their money, you know, their record, their catalog, it's always something else. Like these celebrities, they're never ever safe. And this is also telling that if they do this to Tory, they can flip it and do it to Megan Thee Stallion as well. So if this is happening exactly as we're seeing it, it means that not long from now, Megan Thee Stallion is going to be in danger from the very same people that orchestrated her to do this against Tory Lanez. So no matter how you take it, Megan Thee Stallion, I don't know if that girl is going to know peace. I do pray that she knows peace. And again, I pray that everyone in this case gets the justice that they truly deserve. But I want to hear from you guys. What's your take? While you're at it, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Do all you need to do on this video to help your girl out. Peace.